Hello everyone and welcome to News Extra. And if you happen to be somebody who's new to the area, it may be a little difficult to make connections with people, groups, services, things such as that. And there's a new effort to be able to get you to be able to come together, find those resources and those people that can help you get comfortable in the new community. We're talking about community connections. And I have Kristin Wiebe with me, as well as Starr, Lehl. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
To explain a little bit the genesis of Community Connections, what this is all about.
Okay, well, basically what we're trying to do is new people moving into the community, we want them to get connected right away with a group, with an organization, with a volunteer group. And that's hard sometimes when you're moving into a brand new community, you don't have any friends or relatives here. So that's the gist behind this, is if you come to the community and you have a new job here, you go to your job and you come home, and you go to your job and you come home. If you can't make that connection with someone or some group, you usually leave. Yeah. And so we want people to know that there are things to do here, and we wanted to start connecting our newcomers and getting a group together and letting them know the opportunities that are actually in our community.
Now, is it something that with the change, and it used to be the welcome wagon was pretty prevalent and then still active in the area. Mm-hmm. But with the change toward technology and social media, things such as that, has that kind of impacted things now to where it's actually more difficult?
I think so, because I think, unfortunately, some people don't carry the newspaper anymore. You can't count on one media source to get to people. You also have the fact that people move to the area for different reasons, and they may not be actually going to a building for a job. They might not be connecting with people for their job, and so finding those connections are more difficult because they just want to live here, but they're not going to a job every day. We have those people. We also have spouses of people who've gone to a job here, but spouse needs to find a connection. And we know so often, if they're not making those connections, they think of, moving on or not finding what they need. And so the relationship part of things is very important. And privacy. We're not able to always know who's moving to the area.
Sure.
But if we're getting the information out to businesses to say, hey, share this with your new employees, then hopefully they're finding that.
Now, obviously social media is going to be one of the ways to do so. Explain how this is going to work.
Well, we've got a Facebook page, Community Connections, and we are also handing out cards at different businesses and city offices around the community. And what we want people to know is this is not just Scottsbluff, it's not just Gary. Mm-hmm. It is the entire western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming area. So there's always something to do, whether it's in Chadron or Sidney or even Torrington. There's always things to do in our region. Mm-hmm. And we want people to know that. There's different community festivals, there's just different events, there's just about anything that you would want is right here in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming. So we want to market our entire region. So we want people from different communities to send us information so we can get it onto our Facebook page and let people know what's going on.
And of course, there are also going to be individual events welcoming newcomers to the area. And we'll be back on News Extra in just a moment to talk about that. And we're back on News Extra, and we're talking about Community Connections, an effort to welcome people into the area, get them connected with other individuals, resources, organizations that they may not be aware of in our area. And then we're not just talking Scottsbluff and Gary, we're talking throughout the entire Panhandle and eastern Wyoming. And I have Kristin Wiebe as well as Starr, Lehl with me. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We do have an event coming up here a little bit later this month, a newcomer welcome type of event. Let's talk a little bit about that.
It's going to happen on November 22nd, and it happens right before a production at the Midwest Theater, the Missoula Children's Theater, The Emperor's New Clothes, and they have auditions, and lots of local kids are in that production, so it's a great family event. So we hope that people will come out beforehand if they're new to the area and come to this meet and greet and find other people that they may connect with, but we're also inviting organizations in the area that they can learn more about. And so at this first event, it's at the Midwest Theater prior to that performance, and there will be representatives from a few service clubs in town, maybe other organizations like Legacy of the Plains, like the Arts Center, service clubs that people can volunteer with or just get connected to, so that a variety of interests are represented. And then, that way they're finding a little bit about all of those places each time we have a Newcomers event.
And I was going to say that obviously you have newcomers not just at one time of the,
Right.
year. It's a year-round type of deal. So we can expect these meet and greets periodically as we go forward as well, I would think.
Right. We hope to have 3 to 4 a year, and we'll kind of see how it goes. We may form a newcomers club and do luncheons, like Kristin had said earlier. We're just not sure, but we know the need is out there because you always hear from people, there's nothing to do here. Well, there is. There is a lot to do here, and that's the trying to get the entire region involved and putting those events on our Facebook page and the information so that people can read and attend some of these events.
Of course, you mentioned the Facebook page for community connections. Are there other methods for newcomers to get in contact with people to be able to find out if they're not,
We do. We
technically
have,
savvy maybe?
on the card, we have a number that they can call, and so we'll have these cards placed at, city offices, YMCA, libraries, places people maybe come when they first come to town to set up services, those kinds of things. And we, even with realtors as well, so that those businesses that are coming in contact with new people to the area can share that. And so if they're not on Facebook, there's a way to connect that way, and we'll get the information to them. I should also share too that the venues that we,
We'll
rotate
choose.
around.
Sure.
They will, hopefully have an event going on that we partner with. And like for this first one,
Yeah.
the newcomers that come get free admission to the children's
that's great.
theater program that night.
That's great.
And so families are welcome, and it'll be, just a really easy thing to just come a little bit earlier and have a snack with it.
Yeah, the Missoula Children's Theater, always a very popular event that takes place twice a year at the Midwest Theater generally, and perfect kickoff for the newcomers meet and greets that will be taking place going forward. That is Community Connections, which is going to be, it's actually already up and running right now. You can go to Facebook and find their Facebook page, as well as perhaps reaching out to either you, Kristin, or you, Starr,
Yes.
to make connections for the newcomers here in our area, finding other people, events, organizations, businesses, all kinds of information that you may want to become welcome here in the panhandle of Nebraska as well as eastern Wyoming. Thank you very much for joining us on News Extra today.
Thank you.
Thank you.